Tactile cues. As it says on the tin, it is a cue which is tactile. A cue for your brain, for your sensory map, to figure out what's going on. So let's actually show you. So Johnny, if you set up for a shoulder pull, tactile cue. Okay guys, things like shoulders aren't very well mapped in hypermobility. There's a lot of muscles that attach to the shoulder blades, and if one stops working correctly, it knocks out everything. So for a lot of people with hypermobility, shoulder blade control is pretty much non-existent. So it can cause lots of problems like neck pain, rib issues, especially if things like your serratus anterior don't work to lift the ribs. So tactile cues, in essence, cue our brain tactilely to figure out what's actually going on. If I was to try and get Johnny to do shoulder blade retraction without a tactile cue, if he was hypermobile, he would really struggle, for one, to figure out where the shoulder blade actually is, and two, how to figure out how to move it. Now, if your joint hasn't been in a specific position, it's very hard to map somewhere you haven't been, okay? However, the tactile cue, if we let Johnny contract back, retract the shoulder blade in, yep, all the way, Johnny, pull, pull, good, and then he relaxes it out, and he pulls back. I want you to really pay attention to what's happening, okay? He is a lot stronger here than he is on the front. So actions like protraction he's going to be quite weak in. So what happens is, if you retract back, the band is literally pulling his shoulder blade into protraction. And it means that the stronger muscles here have to lengthen under contraction to control the actual joint action, okay? Now, if I put my hand on Johnny's shoulder blade and he just does a few reps, a few things are going on. One, his brain, okay, is getting lots of signals from all of the sensory nerves that live here to tell his brain, hey, look, if you relax, something's pulling on us. So think about these muscles here, things like the rhomboids. They're getting stretched because of this band, okay, when they're not supposed to be getting stretched. So they're going to communicate with his sensory map and tell him, hey, look, right here, there's stretch going on. What do you want to do about it? Johnny's brain knows he shouldn't particularly be in protraction, okay? And he also knows exactly where the shoulder blade is. A tactile cue will literally light up Johnny's brain. If you just relax and hold Johnny. Right now, Johnny's not thinking about his ears. But if I touch his ear, okay, the part of Johnny's brain on the right-hand side that's dedicated to his left ear lights up like a Christmas tree. It lets him know exactly where this ear is. You probably have it at home if you say wear glasses. You won't notice your glasses all day, but if somebody says, oh, nice glasses, you feel the glasses press on your nose. That signal was coming the whole time. The brain just disregarded it because it's not important, okay? Tactile cues give us a safe way to actually exercise because, one, they allow your brain to figure out exactly where this joint is in space and time now. That's important. It also means the resistance that we get from tactile cues allow the brain to recruit more muscle fibers than they normally would. So when you use tactile cues for exercises, not only are you training the joint being far more aware of where this joint is now, but you're actually stronger. That's why things like tactile cues are so good for injuries and so good for people with hypermobility. So we can tactile cue pretty much any body part. And keep in mind, tactile cues aren't just limited to our red bands. This is a tactile cue. This is a tactile cue. Simply applying pressure. There are many different nerves that send different sensory signals to your brain. Merkel cells, Ruffiniendens, Mesoneer corpuscles, Golgi tendinoggles, muscle spindles. There are lots that detect different types of stimulus. And by using things like hands to help them cue, and more importantly, especially in this course, our little tactile cue red band, we can, one, be more aware of where the joint is when we're actually training and doing our rehab, and two, control the muscles far better with more power and more stability than we could do without the tactile cue. That is why tactile cues for hypermobility are so important.